Good evening, viewers. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Today, another episode of Guest with Nazir. We are honored that we have honorable guest, Mr. Barrister Amjad Malik, former president of Rochdale Law Association. Welcome, Mr. Malik.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for joining today.
It's a pleasure.
Could you please tell us, our viewers, about your early days and your qualifications?
I studied in Pakistan. It's a industrial city, Faisalabad. Started from a very meager primary education from the maths. Started learning alphabets ABC from year 6. Then went on, did my secondary, higher secondary, did my graduation in literature, then did masters in literature, and then studied law. And from 94, then I studied 6 years at Huddersfield University.
And what degree you completed in Huddersfield?
At Huddersfield, I did 3 degrees, one certificate in law, then legal practice course, then LLM in national security law. And then I qualified as a barrister from Lincoln's Inn.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think it's very, very important that because you started your early career in Pakistan, how you see the profession in 2 jurisdictions?
Because I studied law there, some of the law there and here, I think there's a huge difference between the mindset, the way lawyer progress, ethical issues, the syllabus, and the way we look at law, the criminal justice system and the jurisprudence. I think there is a way of difference in thinking and practice, totally different. There is a whole lot of issues about confidentiality, about how you see client, winning the trust of client, and be clear to them, giving them appropriate information to give them the informed choice. Whereas in Pakistan, it's like winning the client, not winning the trust of client. There's a lot of different things. I think it's early stages for Pakistan, and I think it'll take some good decades to improve, but still they are on the right course. Since the judicial movement, I think it has brought the profession, law profession, to the light, and I hope and expect it'll improve. It'll improve further.
Thank you very much. We have some questions for our viewers because we received some emails from our viewers.
Right.
And the first question is about the sportsman visas. If, for sake of argument, a sports club's work permit has been revoked by the Home Office, what is the position of the player who are given the visas on the basis of that license?
Well, it's due to the recent changes. They have turned this whole work permit regime into 2 areas. One is that an employer must be licensed. They attain the trust of the Home Office, and they are licensed, accredited employer who can employ foreign workers. And the second is that the worker who's coming attains some points or qualification to be employed in UK. If an employer ceases to support you, then you are basically at a 0 stage where you'll have to find another employer and make another application. Because you're already in the country, sometimes they give you 90 days to switch under Patel law. But that's for students mainly. For sports person, I will expect that they would expect you to go back, seek a fresh sponsorship, and apply a fresh visa and join your club. That would be the ideal situation, rather than switching a club from here or the employer from here and go to another.
So it means you have to apply a new visa application.
It's like the visa system works in Saudis. If you lose your kafil employer, then you're done. You'll have to go back and then apply for another sponsorship. Once you have secured that sponsorship, then you apply for a visa.
Thank you. Another question about immigration law. If somebody is a victim of domestic violence and she or he is on the spouse visa, so how quickly they can apply for the fresh application on the basis of domestic violence, and what are the evidence required for this application?
If you come to UK as a spouse of a British national, then technically that's a limited leave Previously used to be 2 years, now 5 years. And in the event, unfortunately, if you become a victim of domestic violence, then soon that is established that yes, this is classed as domestic violence, then you should seek independent legal advice as quickly as possible, because that then required, the evidence threshold is very high. They want to have an injunction or criminal conviction against your husband that he perpetrated a crime, or caution by police. The police has seen evidence on which they cannot bring prosecution. However, they have cautioned that person who has perpetrated a crime. However, there is all sorts of additional evidence which can be acceptable. Letters from refuge, if you go to refuge, social services intervention letters, domestic violence report by police, domestic violence report by GP, consultant, psychiatrist, neighbor, anybody who was an eyewitness to the violence. So all these things, all these factors do play a role in establishing your case. However, you can apply as quickly as possible once you become a victim of domestic violence. However, the evidence which I mentioned is mandatory.
Thank you very much. Next question, because your specialization is human rights and immigration law, what is the position if somebody has been granted leave on the basis of new rules, 18,600 rules, and at the extension stage, the spouse is not earning 18,600? So what are the implications?
If you're already here in this country on the basis that at that time you were in compliance of the 18,600 and you want to apply for an extension or indefinite leave to remain, then you'll have to comply with the certain rules and requirements. One of them is that you meet the residence requirement, that you have lived together as husband and wife, you've met the life in UK, the language test, as well as you are still maintaining and accommodating. In maintenance, 18,600, though I personally think it's an unjust rule, should have been challenged long ago, and still Member of Parliament should advocate for the minority communities because it is affecting the marriage as an institution. But still you can argue that even if you've lost job or you are on a reduced salary now, you can argue on the basis of human rights. Even if the case is weak, you still can get extension on the basis of the Article 8, that there is a family right going on already here, the spouse is already here, and the person who was earning 18,600 is not on 18,600, may be classed as not in compliance, but still human right inference can be drawn, and you can advocate your case on the basis of Article 8, because the family life is running, maybe there are children, maybe there are other considerations, there is a home, there is a livelihood.
Thank you very much. Next question about the student visas. If somebody is a student and his leave has been expired and he or she wants to apply on the basis of their marriage with a British national, so what are the implications, whether they are able to apply within the country or they have to go back from where they belong to?
If you're an overstayer, a general rule is that you go back. Simple as that. That you go back and then apply. Whether you marry here or abroad, that's your choice. Because the rule says that you'll have to be within the visa and you haven't broken the law in order to apply for the marriage visa. When you're an overstayer, you already have broken the law and you haven't got the visa. So those two conditions are not met. So even if you are married and you apply, that you are under human rights, not under the rules. The rule says that you got to have a visa and you haven't breached. Having said that, people do apply and they technically rest on the discretion of the Home Secretary. Home Secretary sometimes find that they cannot send this couple back or the gentleman back, and they sometimes grant discretionary leave on the basis maybe there are children, maybe there are medical reasons, maybe there is spouse, certain things in the spouse sponsorship which the Home Secretary finds that they cannot return them in order for them to come back. And some of the things they sometimes take into consideration, whether the couple can go and live in the country of origin for some times in order to come back on a fresh visa. So these are the considerations they take into account generally they should get married and apply from abroad, fresh entry clearance as a spouse.
Thank you very much. Quite detailed answer. The next question is about the present government at the moment is introducing, even already has introduced, the Anti-terrorism and Security Bill 2015. As a human rights lawyer, what are your thoughts about it?
Well, this is technically my area. I've done national security law in my LLM, and also I've done SIAC cases. But I think due to the recent events in Syria, it has caused an uproar in this safety and security the establishment, due to which I think you are already hearing events where people are going from here radicalized in order to join forces with the ISIS. In those circumstances, the interest of state versus the interest of individual, it's a fine balance which Home Secretary will have to draw. Minority community will always have reservations that it may be used against them. But as a human rights lawyer, I can say that due process and fairness is the only thing which can assure us that any administrative steps taken by the government will be taken on the basis that it will be duly applied on all indiscriminately, as well as fairness will be guaranteed and ensured by court. Minority community always have been assured by the British higher courts that when separating chaff from grain, they will take into account that Muslims or Asian minority community is not unnecessarily affected, and that's what is the faith we should rely on. But the extraordinary circumstances do require certain steps to stop and prevent the criminal events happening in future, and part of this is some strong measures taken by Home Office.
Thank you very much. But at the same time, there are a lot of powers to curtail the leaves, visas, especially passport even. So if, for sake of argument, if somebody
I have, in a nutshell, I have said that all those powers should be subject to review by the High Court, which is currently on some of the powers are looked at by the High Courts. If you remember, control orders scrapped by High Court, English language requirements scrapped by High Court, 18-year limit to 21-year limit to marriage scrapped by High Court. All these measures have been previously taken up by the higher courts of England and Wales. That's what is my faith, that whenever you will take strong and stringent measures, the higher courts will always look at it from their point of view, whether it will unnecessarily affect and discriminate the minority community. And that's what we rely on. So whatever measures they are taking, it will be tested on the altar, whether due process is followed, whether it is unnecessarily affecting the minority community, whether it is discriminatory.
Thank you. Now we are coming towards our rapid fire questions.
Yes.
Your favorite food?
I like peas, rice, matar pulao.
And your favorite place?
My favorite place is Lahore.
I believe you quite often visit Lahore.
Yeah, I studied there. I did my graduation from Government College Lahore.
And your favorite personality?
I like Quaid-e-Azam. I follow him, and I feel that he is kind of my mentor in my life. I take quite a lot of confidence after reading his statements and biography.
Because our program is watched by a lot of law students, so what is your advice for them if they want to pursue their career in law?
Excellent career. You will get satisfaction. You will always find the job satisfaction. In the end, you will be worthwhile saying that you were a lawyer advocating for change in somebody's life, change in the way system works, procedures and practices, policies, and looking at the law and the way society operate and commenting on it through the case law. I think it's an excellent profession. I enjoyed every bit of it for the last 22 years, and I hope that the young students coming in come with a faith and trust in the system and also in the profession, and also have some patience. This profession rewards you if you're patient and don't follow the shortcut, but also the longer route, study it properly, do a proper trading contract or a pupillage, and do some pro bono work. I mean, I was the national pro bono solicitor in 2001 for doing 1,000 hours in 1 year. And I think at that time I was young trainee and newly qualified after. So I think that is the time when you can spend some time on excellent casework or cases which are unique in a way that nobody else will take, or client has no money to fight. And that is where you come and play to curtail the barriers in access to justice. And you enjoy it, every bit of it.
Thank you. And how you see immigration law, I will say immigration rules versus human rights, and especially the Human Rights Act. So how you see both working parallel together?
Even if there was no Human Rights Act, there was still a European Convention on Human Rights, 1950, to which Britain is signatory. So people used to rely on the articles of the human right in order to seek relief from the courts. But I see the immigration law is ever evolving, so as our communities. You came most probably 30 years ago. People came 50 years ago. People are still coming to this country. A lot of people are going from this country to Australia and Europe. So I think this coming and going will continue. Britain is a global part of global community, and the networks have made it into a global village. The whole world is knit into like kind of a one family. So people have now more interaction and connect with each other, and it's gonna improve. It's not gonna go away. Immigration law may be tightened more, but it means that more clearer of the mind will emerge out of it. People will come with a purpose. People will come clearly knowing what they want to do and how they will do it, and the law will facilitate. Previously, the law has been a little bit extended and open-ended. Now they are just curtailing it, making it specifically fit for purpose, and people will have to find the relevant category in which you want to come. A lot of engineering doctors will continue coming in this country. So as student industry rely on foreign students a lot, nurses, other players, so all will benefit from it. So as our commitment to the Geneva Convention, asylum laws have not been properly looked at. There is a big backlog. I think the government, all governments, previous and current, they have a huge challenge to how to deal with the people who haven't been decided how they're going to be removed, where they're going to be kept, detention centers. People have uproar about the detention centers. So these things will keep coming back, and all governments will have to deal with it. But having said that, immigration law is ever evolving, and we'll always keep hearing stories about it.
Thank you. And at the end, what is the best moment of your life?
I think I was from a middle-class family. I was a student, and I topped my board in A-level studies and FA, it's called. And I think that was a great moment. That's where I started thinking that God has given me some extra gift. Out of 60,000 students, I topped the board, and later on when I became the president of the Rochelle Law Association, any Asian to be on that accolade for after 107 years, I think I felt that these two were greatest moments.
Thank you. Viewers, I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you have any questions, you can email me. My email is shown on your screens. And if you want to join me as a studio guest, you can email me your CV and your details. Mr. Malik, thank you very much for joining me.
Pleasure is mine.
It was a pleasure, and I think it's honor for us. And I hope in future you will also join us in our show. And thank you very much for joining me all the way from Rochdale. Thank you very much.
Thank you.